All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us live as we bring you breaking news out of the Eden area on Vintage Road. I have Charles Rourke on the phone with us, who just got done covering a homicide there. Charles, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that it's an active homicide right now. It happened at about 4:23. That's when they got the initial call. I'm going to try to pinpoint for folks in Eden can know where this is. It's on Vintage Road, but for most folks, it's very near the fairgrounds, which is on Route 1487 junction. Very close to the fairgrounds, less than a half a mile away from the fairgrounds there in Eden. They're investigating. I understand that a man was found outside near his trailer door with at least 2 gunshot wounds, and the police right now are looking for 2 males, one of them being a black male wearing a white T-shirt with the number 19 on the T-shirt, and then there's a white gentleman wearing a blue pullover shirt, from what I understand. And that's the general specifics that they have at this hour. They did get away on foot. They don't know if they went to a car, but I can tell you there's a manhunt going through Rockingham County right now. Sheriff Sam Page is on the scene, obviously in charge of the situation. He told me that it's a big manhunt going on with the City of Eden Police and Rockingham County, trying to find these 2 individuals that might be connected with the possible shooting that occurred right here in this man's front yard. I can tell you there's a lot of neighbors looking on. Everybody's kind of just like sitting still at their car and so we're not moving. I think at this point, I don't want to say it, but it looks like everybody in that neighborhood, is kind of shocked and puzzled by this. And of course, the police are really responding quickly. We saw at least on the scene, at least about 10 vehicles, some passing by. We saw several vehicles passing by as they're doing a manhunt across this community there in Eden. And I did ask the officials there, is it safe? And they said, we can't guarantee that right now. I mean, obviously there's 2 men that have apparently done some shooting and they're loose, so they're asking folks to lock the doors, take a little extra precaution right now because this main search is going on. So if you're in Eden right now and you see police in your neighborhood, that's what they're doing. They're looking for these 2 men. They're looking for a black male wearing a white shirt with the number 19 in the middle of the shirt, and also a white male with a blue pullover shirt. They have the locations, and we don't know his age. They don't have that detail of information yet.
Okay, and these gentlemen were last seen on foot. Is that correct?
That's right. But they don't know if they went to a vehicle or what. But the thing that makes this interesting, it happened in broad daylight. This is a road that a lot of people come and going back and forth. It's a heavily traveled road, so the police know somebody knows something. And of course, as you know, Dick Jansen, the first 2 or 3 hours in a situation, it is crucially important that the people help, and they're asking folks to call 911 right now if they see some guys that meet this description. And they say, don't handle it yourself, just call the police, and I can tell you they can probably respond within a minute or 2 because there's so much presence of law enforcement in this particular area. I can say in a 5 square mile area, you see police from everywhere.
Okay, well, they say that the average person can walk, and I would imagine these guys are running, but they say the average person can walk a mile within 12 to 15 minutes. Now, at 6:30, this happened around 4:30, so they really couldn't have got too far unless they are now traveling by vehicle, which I'm sure is something law enforcement is taking into consideration.
Eden is very close to Virginia. And, of course, we have two of our markets that we cover. These folks may have gotten transportation. They could be in Martinsville. They could be in Danville. But this is a very crucial time in this investigation. We're talking about it's been going on for a little less than 2 hours. So that's where we are. And, of course, that's why the police – and one thing I can tell you, the law enforcement in Rockingham County, they waste no time and get us this information. They called us and said, we want you here. This is something where we really need the people's support in getting this under control. And I can tell you the sheriff is on scene along with his PIO, along with other deputies that are going to the neighborhoods, talking to neighbors, do what they can. They've also taped off the scene. We'll have pictures coming up in the next few minutes of the scene. We'll also have interviews with both the sheriff and the PIO. They're on location as they're trying to pull this story together. They're prepared. They're really prepared for something like this. That's one thing that impressed me when I got there on scene. They were ready and waiting for us. We didn't have to wait 10, 30 minutes because they want to get this information to the public now, and they know that Star News is the way to do it.
Let me ask you another question. Is this, again, this happened in the Vintage Road area near the fairgrounds. Is this a high crime area as far as we know? Is this normal for that community?
It's a normal community. As far as it doesn't appear to be a heavy crime area. I can tell you this was a trailer court area. I saw at least 3 or 4 trailers involved there. This incident happened at a trailer court. I can tell you, right at the door where apparently this happened, they set up a tent, so they can, keep the crime scene under wraps and so forth. They have tape from trailer, for a good section. Of course, they're protecting the crime areas. Of course, they're going to be bringing in. The lab has already arrived there on the scene, and I can tell the sheriff. He can tell it's going to be a long night for his men. But I can tell you, Sam Page will be on top of this. He said that it could be a long night, but he's hoping that somebody will give them the tip they need right now. That's why I'm here on TV, trying to tell the folks there in Rockingham County, you need to call your neighbors, get on Facebook, do the kind of things that you need to do. We need to also get on our Facebook if we can, get our a Facebook person and say, let me go to the information. We need to get on our Facebook right now. That is that the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office is treating the situation on Vintage Road as a homicide, suspicious homicide. Someone has been found on the ground next to a trailer, right out the door, and they're looking for a black male wearing a white T-shirt with the number 19 in the middle of it. I think that's really some good piece of evidence. Because not everybody's going to be wearing a shirt that's got 19 on it. And then, of course, you've got another gentleman wearing a blue pullover shirt. They just, it was like a plain blue pullover shirt. It's a white gentleman. So,
and any idea or any clues as to what the age might be on these two gentlemen, roughly, in their 20s or 30s?
That's asked 2 or 3 times. They just don't. They have, adults. They don't have the age yet. They apparently whoever saw them. Couldn't figure that out. Maybe they were from a further distance. The further you get from people, it's hard to tell age.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I can tell you that they're truly working the scene like no other. I mean, it's incredible the man effort that's going on right now in Rockingham County.
Yeah, and everyone knows, especially us in the news and law enforcement business as well. There's a lot of work that goes into processing a crime scene. A lot of forensics that have to be done, and it has to be done in a very well taken care of manner, because this is a lot of times when it goes to court, a lot of the evidence found there on the scene is what they use in court, and they don't want any of that contaminated or disturbed.
And of course, right now is when the public can truly help. We've seen how the public can really help in a lot of different cases. But right now, people need to keep their eyes open. And go look outside, see if you see somebody that fits that description. The police always tell us, don't take it in your hands, just to call the police immediately. Because I can tell you, with so much law enforcement present in Rockingham County, they can, you can, I can almost guarantee they will be there within a minute or two. If you call it, you need to call 911 right now. If you see anything that looks suspicious, a black male wearing a white T-shirt with a number 19, a white male with a blue pullover shirt, at least we know they're adults, so they should be pretty tall. That's what we know at this point. But, anybody you see that meets this description, call the police. Let them check it out, because it's important. I mean, you see anything close to this description, I'd say call 911 right now.
Did law enforcement make any safety recommendations for the community, such as stay inside, lock your doors, anything?
I'd asked that. They said that, at this point, they got 2 people that are on the streets that they need to question. They play that safe. They say, play it safe. Lock it up if you see somebody that's suspicious. But go inside, lock your doors, and then call 911.
All right.
We're going to have more video coming up in the next about 7 minutes. We'll actually hear interviews on the scene, video coming on most of our Star News stations. So that'll be coming up here momentarily. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Charles.
All right.
Bye-bye. Again, that's Charles Rourke on the scene, getting ready to bring back that video. Stay tuned. We'll have more in just a moment.